0864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Ducks football.
Touchdown, Oregon. Byron Cardwell. That was quick.
We have to push ourselves to be the best that we want to be.
Pressured, steps up, goes down. Sack Brandon Dorlus.
We think iron sharpens iron, right? You want to create that competitive environment. You have to do things that are hard.
Way down for Thornton. He's got it. He's going to score. What a stop by Oregon's Noah Sewell. Oh, what a throw. What a catch. Terrence Ferguson.
I'm excited about the energy that our coaches bring and the energy our players bring day in and day out.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Ducks football.
Welcome into the show. It's the Toyota Coaches Show again this Wednesday night, and wow, what a night to be here, and what a week to be here after just an unbelievable performance against UCLA last weekend at a crazy Autzen Stadium. I'm Jerry Allen. Jorgie's here, and the coach is in the chair, the hot seat. We call it the hot seat, but that's not so hot for you. You've been in hotter seats. I'm
not
no
too
doubt about it. The atmosphere from last week, the game, was electric upstairs. I can't imagine what it was like when you came out of the tunnel onto the field. I mean, goosebumps?
Yeah, it's really special. You know, the first thing you do is you throw on your headset as a coach and you try to talk to the offense and the defense, and then you let them know, hey, you guys are going to have to talk really loud in the mic today. It's kind of loud down here.
Good stuff.
And I hope I have to do that at every home game because that was an awesome environment from the 1 a.m. crowd that started it to the group that finished it before the game was over.
Yeah, game day, what was it like? I mean, you said you were shocked.
I just in awe. You know, I got up early that morning, and I think my feet touched ground on the quad at 6 a.m., and the amount of people, the emotion, it's hard to describe. You know, the passion that our fans had, they just made that a special day from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, it amazed me, the carryover from Friday, maybe even Thursday. I don't know, Scott, you were talking about guys that were already camping there on Thursday. But the carryover throughout and all the way into the game and throughout the game and to the end of the game was, again, you mentioned it special. It was, but it's just pretty amazing.
Yeah, it takes a certain level of juice. You know, I'm sure they were drinking Bigfoot Pepsi, right?
No doubt.
To keep the energy going. And they were there from the beginning to the end. Again, it was impressive. That crowd made that environment so fun and different.
Memory, no doubt
sure.
about it. Coach's interview brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. You mentioned that. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. How do you manage the emotion and the energy for not only you and your coaches but your team when the game starts with that kind of emotion? How do you keep it from getting out of control?
Yeah, one play focus, right? We all know that one play isn't going to make or break the game. It's going to be a series of plays. It's going to be the combination of all of them at the end, and you have to be able to hit the reset button after each play, right? And really challenge yourself to focus within the moment, be present. Don't think too far ahead. Don't think too far back, because the only thing that matters is right now.
You know, not only Jerry, that's a perfect question because my question is not only how do you manage it in the moment, how do you manage it going forward? Because it's tough not for us as fans to not look back and go, God, wasn't that fun? You got to shut it off 24 hours or even 12 hours or 18 hours later and begin to move forward with the Cal Bears in
Yeah, we have a great team that we have to go face. But the reality is, it's easy to hit the reset button when you sat in the seat on the other end, right? We've been on the other side where we didn't perform the way we wanted to perform, and it was easy to get back up and go to work when everybody else thinks it might not be. But that's kind of been our team's approach the entire season: is the next game, right? Growth mindset, focus on us. Where can we improve? And our guys are anxious to get out on the field again.
Number 8 team in the nation right now, moving up, and I know you guys don't look at that, but as you get ready for your next football game, you look at that one you just finished, and we're all going, what a perfect game. What a perfect game. what a great win. Everything went right. But as a head coach, I know you already had a list probably before that ended of what needs to be fixed.
Yeah, there's plenty of things that we can do better, and I think I've already seen a lot of it show up in this week, and we've tried to recreate some of those moments in practice and certain periods, script them a little bit different, doing a little bit different change-up for us to be more improved in the next game. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff we can fix, and that's the way it should be.
Right down to killing the clock.
Yeah, we can do a better job
you
there.
work on that specifically in practice, which, not a surprise that you do, but at the same time, something that you could improve on after, what you did this last week. And it worked out well, but at the same time, something to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly some moments that we can get better at. It's funny, we practiced those same exact scenarios on Friday, right before the walkthrough, and we did the air ball, where I know a lot of people are watching that play and they're like, what's this? This is so you don't give the opponent the ball back, right? But to do it with the amount of time we had there, you don't normally want to do it with that much time. So we can manage that a little bit better at the end of the game, and it's definitely a spot I can get better at.
But it worked out. I mean, and when you look at that game and then getting ready this week for practice, I heard you say we've already played the game in our minds or in practice by the time we get to the game. What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, we just want to replicate the same moments as many times as possible before we hit the game field, right? And some people see that as practice, but for me, that's not just practice. That's the film room. That's talking through the calls before you go to practice. It's the walkthrough, right? It's the actual practice. It's the Friday walkthrough. It's all those moments where we watch the TV copies and be able to go experience that with our players. But if I've already gone to the field and I feel like I've played this game 4 or 5 times before, once you get there, you're in your comfort zone.
Coach, offense, and I'm going to start with the offensive side of the ball, but, what you just accomplished this last week and really kind of the role offensively that you've been on, can point out players at tight end or at wide receiver, at running back or at quarterback, whatever, but the game starts at the line of scrimmage, and the communication that's taking place between your offensive line, and again, not to pick out players, is tremendous as to the communication that all starts with that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's been a really cohesive unit all year, and there's been other people, there's been different people plugged in those spots on the offensive line. So to see, a group of guys be able to do something and accomplish something has been really fun to watch. But we have great leaders in that group. They're well coached. Our offensive staff has done a phenomenal job, and those guys come out there and work and look for opportunities to get better each day.
I want to single one guy out, and don't like to single anybody out because it's a team, but Alex Forsyth, pretty special, pretty important, has been an integral part of the success of that entire offensive line.
Yeah, and I think any person that's been around our program and met Alex and seen the way he works would be able to tell you the same thing. No shock.
I told Jorgie this. He had a couple of times when he moved the ball. I'm going to coach him up on that next week. I know he's not doing anything different. Is that a focus of officiating and not critiquing them at all? But there's some things that seem to be more prevalent this year than in past.
Hey, that would be an excuse if we leaned on that. It seems like that's something we can get better at, and I think Alex would be the first one to tell you he can get better at it. So we're going to look for opportunities to improve. Certainly when you play in a loud environment, you're in unique situations, things like that we have to eliminate, and we'll do a better job of it going forward.
That group is really confident, like we talked about, and just from the standpoint of if it all starts there, the communication really well, but they don't flinch either. I mean, when you come to big types of situations, like a couple of fourth downs to start the second half in your own territory, it was just like it was I don't want to say like a first down, but at the same time they operated that way. Great confidence.
Yeah, again, we've talked about it before, but we make a lot of those decisions before I ever hit the field. I'm curious what it'll look like if I ever tell the guys we're not going for it on fourth, right? And they've handled it great. They've bought in to our philosophy there, and if it ever does get stuck at some point where we don't get it, our defense is going to go out there and make sure that our offense has the confidence to know that they can do that. They can take those risks at times. So they've done a really good job of that.
I ask you this question just before we go to the break. I was going to ask you this. Your team is so efficient on fourth down. You ever consider just taking a knee on third down and go for it on fourth down?
We haven't done that. I might bring that up to our coach. This is a great idea.
There you go. All
Something to think about with our coaching staff.
All right, we're going to get out of here and get our first break in. Don't you throw the flag.
Idea.
Don't you throw the flag.
That
it's
was
our
a
Pepsi
sympathy great idea right there is what that was.
We're going to continue on from Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it. On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back to the Oregon Football Coaches Show. It's brought to you by Toyota. Jerry Jorge and the coach. I want to mention a little bit about Bo Nix, not to single him out, but something he did say this week in an interview was that he's feeling more confident and is getting more opportunity, I guess, to make calls at the line, to check or change things at the line. He kind of volunteered that. Is that a confidence thing in him or just learning more about the offense?
That's a belief. It's also a testament to his preparation, right? He works really hard to understand that what we see as coaches, right? But none of us coaches are going to play the game. So when you can have a coach out there in the field and he knows what we're looking for and what our offensive staff wants to accomplish and he can get us to that play, it allows you to have a lot more freedom as a coach and really push to, there's some plays that we carry into games that aren't good against every look. And Bo makes sure we don't run those plays versus bad looks. And that's a tremendous compliment to him.
One more on the offensive side, we'll talk defense and get into Cal, and that is Troy Franklin. He's so good that teams are, aware of what he can do, and they're focusing on him. How much does that help your other receivers and your quarterback when they put so much focus on one guy and you've got 3 or 4 other really talented receivers?
Yeah, I don't know that we've completely seen that yet, but we'll probably start to see it more and more. With Troy, the fact that he's been sure-handed, can catch it, has a big catch radius, and when he's targeted, he comes down with the ball. That's a big win for us, and certainly makes it better for everybody around him. And when he can play at a high level and we can trust that we throw the ball his direction, he comes down with it. I think he's building a real connection with Bo and the rest of those guys as well.
Very cool.
How much has it helped your defense to see a majority of the time this season, other than probably the Stanford game, a quarterback that can move? I mean, you saw it with Georgia. You saw it, frankly, with Talkington, with Eastern Washington, DTR, Cam Ward. All those guys can move in different ways. Yeah. As you've said before, some will move to throw the ball. Others will move and run the ball like DTR would. How much of an effect did it help you guys to be able to see those type of guys leading into DTR, who's a different type of guy as well?
Yeah, it's certainly been a benefit. I think each week we've had the opportunity to go against some really good quarterbacks, and it's different each week. But when you play a guy that's mobile, it certainly makes it more challenging.
When you're game planning, probably talk more the opposite in the defensive side, but defense too. Do you have a predetermined idea of what you want your team to accomplish, or is a lot of that based on what your opponent is going to do?
It's a combination. It's a combination of what you've done. It's a combination of what your opponent's done, and then what you feel like you have real, great confidence in. I think you remember watching, remember the Titans, and I don't think you had a very big playbook, right? But you run it well, you run your plays well. That's the key. We don't want to be the team that's a jack of all trades, right? We want to be a master of our craft, and when we can build off the wrinkles that we have, that's a real positive for us.
I know that your coaches break down film and look at opposition. How much do your players play into putting together a game plan? Do they participate in that?
I think they have more of just an awareness of what they're going to see, what kind of looks they're going to see from personnel. And then, there's pieces to the game where they can certainly influence. What do they feel confident in as we run stuff throughout the week? How much they actually install is probably different.
The importance of bending but not breaking. You hear that term used so much, but in this game it was really important. And not only forcing field goals instead of allowing touchdowns, but possessions too. I mean, UCLA only had 3 legitimate possessions in that first half. You ended the first half with a long drive, didn't put it back in their hands. All those things kind of play into the process of the game, and then there's the onside kick. I mean, you talked about that during the week. You saw it. You thought you were going to do it, but you maybe planned for it, but that was a huge swing in the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was certainly a positive. We sat with our players on Friday, and every Friday we go through situational football. We watch other teams outside of ourselves, and we watch 2 teams that attempted surprise onside kicks. And I talked to our players about, hey, this is our plan this week. Anybody opposed, let me know, because we'll be at the press conference having to explain this if it doesn't work. And everybody was on board, and they said, let's do it. And they knew the keys for it, to have success. And we knew in this game that they have a talented team, and that we wanted to make sure that our offense was able to touch the ball more than theirs. You're going to create that through some takeaways. You're going to create that by stealing a possession in special teams. So we felt like there was a moment that presented it, and we had a chance to do it, especially knowing that we weren't going to be getting the ball at the beginning of the second half. We felt like our chance to do it was in the first, and that's why we did it.
You find players lobbying for certain plays that would include them, like, Coach, run this because I know I can beat this guy, or maybe it's Cam Lewis saying, look, don't go for it on fourth. I can kick a 62-yard field goal. Come on.
I don't get too much of that. Our guys have been really good this year about that. I know I had some funny moments. I think Chris Hudson at the end of the game was like, Coach, let's go score again. I think Noah Sewell came up to me during the game and said, is that all the time we could squeeze out of after that 15-play drive? He goes, that's all the time we could squeeze out of that? And you have some funny moments within the game. Yeah. Our guys are super aware, really tied into what our plan is as a team. That's cool. And that's a benefit. I want our players to know on third down, hey, this is what we're thinking, right? Because that allows them to really carry it over to the field. And, again, when you can have coaches on the field, that's when you're cooking with gas.
Wow. You really got to somewhat change your defensive approach to this week, just because the 2 offenses are quite a bit different. How do you go about that big change from one week to another?
Yeah, there's things that you'll practice in certain weeks that you might not always carry, right? But you'll carry it for each week just so you can make sure you keep it fresh and relevant, right? So we do crossover periods versus our offense. We also do look periods, but we're going to carry some stuff that maybe we haven't ran in a few weeks, right? But we've still worked it during practice prep, so it's not so far from our mind.
Cal easily could be 6-1. I mean, they have 3 games. They lost by 1 score. I think a lot of fans look at their record and go, you don't have to worry about these guys. You got them. But that's a dangerous football team, and so you need your team to understand and respect that. And I think that's what you guys talk about each week, is respecting every opponent, but play your game the best way you can, and it'll take care of itself.
Yeah, and Cal's a team, they've been really advantageous when it comes to taking care of the ball. I think they're 4th in the nation when it comes to turnover margin. So they get the ball out on defense. They don't really throw it away on the other side of things. So they've done a good job of that, and they're a talented team that makes sure that they don't beat themselves. So we have to go down there and play our best game. I know it's going to be a different environment for our players to go on the road. We've gone and played well on the road at times. We've gone and not played well on the road. So it's going to be a good challenge for us to go put together a good game.
And he'll give up points very easily. I mean, they make you work for everything. That's going right. down the field. You probably had a chance to see, and we all did, the Washington game, where it's a 6-0 game at halftime. You look at the stats, you would think it's something different, and then just like that, Cal's ahead 7-6. Very well coached defensive team, and overall as a team.
Yeah, they do a great job. Again, they don't beat themselves, right? They keep the ball in front of them. They go tackle and swarm when the ball's thrown or when it's handed off, and they make sure that they don't have a lot of errors that are going to lead to explosive plays.
Ball security is really going to be important this week. They take advantage.
It's important every week, but it's certainly important when you're playing a team that obviously does a great job of coaching it.
Yeah, a couple of 2 or 3 really good offensive players they have too. I mean, not only with Plummer at the quarterback position, and great arm, but with Ott and Hunter, a couple of big-time wide receivers, freshman running back, it's really dangerous. You got to really pay attention defensively, don't you?
Yeah, the more you watch the film, the more you say, okay, that guy's a concern, right? That guy's a concern. I think they're, I think they've played really well at quarterback at times. I think he can make every throw. Obviously, Ott's done a great job of running the ball, and they have some guys they can distribute it to. So they have all the elements to be effective. We'll see where it stacks up on Saturday.
You guys have some unbelievable uniform combinations that you wear, and they're all just enviable for a lot of teams. Do you know each week what's coming up, or does Kenny Farr tell you, hey, Coach, here's how we're going to dress?
I saw them all at the very beginning of the year, right? This was kind of like, hey, here's the plan. But I'll be honest, that's so far from my mind that whenever I probably see the tweet that you guys see, and you're like, oh, dang, those look, so like the shoes that came out for this Cal game are awesome. Obviously, the guy that makes those, right, is really big into designing those. He went to school here, Terrell.
Yeah.
Went to school here, played football here. It's a great example of being able to make connections while you're here at the school and turning that into a career opportunity down the road. But him and I have been texting a lot about these shoes, and I gave him a hard time the other day because I haven't seen them yet, and now we got them. So I'm fired up to see our guys wear them. Yeah, there's a good pic right there of Karen wearing them.
Wow.
I'm just hoping they make a cleatless version.
In a nine, not small feet.
That might happen now that you just said that.
No, I don't think so. I love it. I don't know. You probably didn't get a chance to hear this. Maybe somebody told you. Campbell Lewis was on with us last week and after you, and he was phenomenal. But Jorgie asked him, hey, you get this moment in a game when you kick it off, and for whatever reason, the guy gets through, and you're the guy that gets to take out save the touchdown. You got to love that. He said, no, that hurts. I said, what? He said, no, I don't want to do that. It hurts.
Well, there you go. So you're telling me I need to work more tackling drills with Cam in practice?
Yeah, not only has coverage not been good, now I got to make the tackle. But he wasn't real happy about the question.
Fired up.
So,
that makes sense, but we might have to address that at practice.
I love it. Coach, that's all the time we got for you. We're going to get out of here and let you get back to work. And thank you again for taking your time every Wednesday night to join us.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right. It is our Pepsi Coaches interview brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll come right back. We got a player. Joey Mack is back. Was he gone last week?
It's tough to tell.
I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure it was. Here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans, and lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
The ins and outs of all things Ducks. This is Oregon football from Learfield.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, college scholarships for the children of law enforcement, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on the USDSA and how you can help, visit usdeputy.org.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. Jerry, Jorgie, and Joey is back. We missed you last week. We really did. It wasn't the same.
I miss being here.
No, I'm glad.
But I'm glad that you got a great interview with Camden Lewis.
We did.
Yeah. Cam's great.
Yeah, he really
Cam's
is.
Great.
All right, guys, 6-1, 4-0, number 8 in the nation. All that doesn't mean a thing if you don't keep taking care of business. And this is a week that, in past history, Jorgie, Joey, you know it as well, Cal's been a tough place to play.
Yeah.
It can be.
No.
I mean, it can be. Yeah. And again, I just think the greatest lesson for me is just the most recent lesson, and that is, last week, and taking a look at the way that Washington struggled to get the ball in the end zone against the Cal defense in particular. Lots of yards equals 6 points in the first half, and before you know it, to open up the second half, Cal goes right down the field, and they're up 7-6. Yeah. And all of a sudden we got ourselves a game. So that's the type of thing that Cal can put on teams. They play very sound defense. They don't make a whole lot of mistakes on offense, Joey, and it's going to be a challenge, no doubt about it.
Coach was very complimentary of the way they take care of the ball, and I'll be complimentary of their quarterback. I think that that's something that maybe gets overlooked because you look at Cal, especially with Coach Wilcox, and you think physicality and defense, they've done that well. But looking at the offensive numbers, they do really take care of the ball. I think that's a challenge. I think that the turnover margin is really key every week, particularly in this game. Just looking at the numbers, and Coach said it. He's been very complimentary of their quarterback, Plummer. So here's hoping that the guy we're going to talk with right now, Brandon Dorlus, hits him a few times.
That's right, yeah.
It's so interesting to look at this game. Justin Wilcox on the other side, their leading tackler is a Jackson Sermon, whose father played here and, played in the NFL. There are a lot of connections in this game in the Pac-12.
Steve Greatwood back on their staff.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. So, but it all comes down to the play, and I'm so confident in what Oregon's accomplished now. Bo Nix's able to read a defense, and I'm not worried about Oregon getting in the red zone and not scoring now. They had a little trouble with that early in the year. I think Bo can look at that play and decide what to do. And he's been sacked one time, best in the nation. That's the offensive line.
Yeah, and the one sack, he was rolling out, got half yard behind the line of scrimmage against Stanford. Look, it's the offensive line for sure. It's amazing though to look at what the running backs have done in the pass protection. The tight ends with chip blocks, wide receivers getting open quickly, Bo Nix making great decisions. Yeah. To me, sacks are first an offensive line stat, and then it's really a team stat, right? That's how I look at it. And Oregon as a team has been really, really efficient in that category.
Yeah, again, they're not into stats. They're just basically, obviously, here's what I have to do. Here's what we're supposed to do in a certain down and distance type of situation. But you look at what Oregon's defense has done, and as I mentioned to Coach Lanning, there's only 1 week that they've had a Statue of Liberty quarterback sitting back there in the pocket. Otherwise, they've been chasing people all over the place, and really good athletic quarterbacks. And not that Jack Plummer can't hurt you. He did Notre Dame. He gave Notre Dame some fits from the standpoint of some of the runs that he made, but an opportunity to make some plays against Plummer and this Cal offense is going to be there for the defense to make. And the defense has just played really, really well. And each and every week they just seem to get better and better and better at everything, whether it be some of the open field stuff, the screen games that teams like to run to them on the outside, or just the rush defense on the inside and what they do. I'm really excited for what they've been able to do and how they've moved forward as a team. Offense, defense, special teams all season long.
Final word, as far as this segment goes, I'm most excited about Oregon's edge because against the type of quarterbacks Oregon's have played this year, and a lot of offenses Oregon is not getting beat on the edge. They're containing. Yeah. No quarterbacks have really been able to take advantage of that. Do you know anybody that you could talk to about that?
I'll ask Dorlus.
Oh, he would know.
He'll know.
It's coming up next. Joey's got a great interview for you. We're all back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
More Jerry, Jorgie, and Joey after this timeout. You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, I'm Joey Mack, back with you on the Toyota Coaches Show. He is Brandon Dorlus. Brandon, thanks for being here. Okay, I have to tell you a fun story. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I was talking about how you were going to be on the Coaches Show, and I referred to you by your full name. Someone looked at me, and they go, I've never called him Brandon. He's always just Dorlus. Is that accurate? Are you always just Dorlus?
All right, so here's the deal. No one calls me by Brandon at all. Like, I hear Brandon, I'm like, I look confused. I look around. So around the facility, I get called BD, Dorlus, Big B, B-Wo. So I'll never go by Brandon. Nah,
okay.
Yeah.
So then they were right. So Todd Miles, you were right, sir. You're just a Dorlus. All right. Do you remember the last time that you were in the studio with us? It was Media Day. Actually, we talked with Dorlus. Mm-hmm. For Media Day, and I had you tell your 2-minute life story. You remember?
Yeah.
I told you that if you were ever on again, you'd get another shot at it if you wanted it.
No, I don't want it.
You don't want another shot?
I don't want it. I don't think I could do it again.
So if you need to hear the 2-minute life story of Brandon Dorlus, search for his appearance on Duck Insider from Media Day. I won't make you do it again.
All right.
I won't make you do it again. Jerry was just talking about this, so I want to start with this. Containing the edge. That's something that you guys have done really well as a defense. At least that's our assessment. What's your assessment in that category?
We take a lot of pride up front on the D-line. We feel like we start the game off, like we have to get the game going, We the trenches, so we the first ones making contact. So we start the game off with a good tempo. We contain the edges. It's gonna be all good. Me and DJ, we won't let the guys go outside of us, and when we do, it don't feel good. So, yeah. And going back to our sideline with Coach Tosh and Lanning, you don't want to be a part of that. So yeah.
Yeah. What's the first thing that they often say to you guys when you're coming off the field after a stop?
First thing is just. Here we go. That's the first one.
Do it again.
I mean, that's just like our habits. Is like we want to be one of the best defenses in the nation, and so when we get our first stop, it's like okay, we did our job, and next round.
Yeah, next round.
Yep.
Do it again. When you guys are going through the ebbs and flows of a game, Coach was just talking about this, that there's such an awareness on the sideline. How would you describe that as a player? Just the awareness throughout a game of the different situations that are going on. Take us inside the sideline if you could a little bit.
All right. So basically, that last game was a weird game for me because our offense held the ball forever.
Yeah.
So I'm still on the sideline. It's like the third quarter, and I'm like, I asked Keon next to him. I'm like, dog, we've been sitting here for a little minute, right? And he's like, yeah, they had the ball at 10 minutes. It's like 4 minutes left, and they still have the ball. So, when you locked into the game and how offensive flows, you just got to see and, just have a feeling for it. UCLA, they came out, and they wanted to have a shootout.
Yeah.
And we know it's that early. And so our coach did an amazing job of just slowing the game down, and it was amazing. But it did kind of feel weird just sitting down there and just letting the offense have the ball. It was like, yep.
Was there a part of you, be honest with me, was there a part of you that if it was fall camp, you'd be like, I need to get out there, I got to get back out on that field, I will stop this offense by myself?
Of course, man. I love being on the field. Like, the more you sit, the more you get cold, and it was raining out, it was cold out there, so you feel in your bones. You just like, you got to be out there. So yeah.
What was the environment like?
Oh, it was crazy. Like, I think that was one of the loudest games I've played in Austin since I've been here.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I was going to ask you because your career, because of the COVID year, right? I feel like you kind of got, in a lot of ways, cheated of a year of fans, maybe even two.
Yeah.
You know, I think so. That was one of the better environments. You think?
For
so?
sure.
Huh?
It was amazing. The fans came out electric. My family was there. They said it was amazing. It was beautiful. And I like the scenery when it came out. You see everybody in pink. It was just beautiful. Yeah.
Is this one of your favorite uniforms?
Top 3 for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you so can you name your top 3?
Oh yeah.
So far,
yeah.
What are they?
My favorite one is Ohana jerseys.
Yeah.
UCLA COVID year.
So apparently it's a common theme against UCLA. Good uniforms.
Yeah. And it was crazy. I think all my favorite ones were against UCLA.
Huh.
It was the Ohana ones. Cookies and cream last year, the eggshells. I love that one. And this year was the pink. So yeah.
So you like something a little different.
Yeah, I love being different.
Yeah, I like that. Brandon Dorlus joining us. What are you most proud of during your career on the football field? Does something stick out so far?
This year?
This year. Let's go this year.
This year. How does, because like I came on last year, last show, I came in saying I like to talk a lot of junk on the field. I toned it down this year.
Did you?
I toned it down. I did. I ain't gonna lie. I toned it down this year. I'm more of a leader now. I try to just lead by example and how I play, and just let my game talk now.
It's amazing you say that. I have a bullet point. I'm going to read you my exact bullet point for you. Okay. You said on media day that you wanted to be more vocal this year in a leadership category.
Yeah.
So you think you've done that?
Yes.
How'd you go about doing that?
It's just really basically talking with Tony Washington. Just asking him, like, how did he go out about the games? Like, what did you see? Like, how did you want to lead? And he was the same thing. Like, he's not a big talker, but he loves talking junk too. So we were the similar players. So he just say he let his pads do the talking. And you see something going on wrong, you see a lot of chaos going on. You just gotta calm it down and just be at peace.
A guy like Tony, an alum who's on staff, how much can you and the rest of the players get from somebody like him and others that are on the staff?
Man, it's amazing because, we just had meetings, and he's always in the back of the room. We got Coach Tony teaching, and he's our GA, so he's in the back of the room. And having that knowledge is crazy. What's funny is I was watching the Rose Bowl when they played at Florida State, and he scored that touchdown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dog, you were slow. And he's like, man, stop playing with me, man. And like it was just funny, just watching the game and not him just being in the room. Yeah. It's a real blessing.
Who would win a 40-yard dash now?
Me.
You?
Totally right. Can't keep up with me.
So now let me ask you this, because so if you look very closely on the replay, you're gonna laugh at this. If you look very closely on the replay, there's a certain angle where you're gonna see a guy with headphones on, running, trying to keep up with Tony Washington. That was me during that game. So, I understand. I think you could probably beat it today. I get it.
Yeah.
But no, that's a fun story,
Yeah.
And so you think about plays like that, and did that kind of inspire you a little bit? Like you've mentioned before that Oregon was your dream school. Plays like that really resonate with you?
Oh yeah. So like growing up, I always loved watching Oregon and how Oregon played football. It wasn't really how the uniforms, but I just loved just seeing how the family and how they just play. It really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
And playing basketball, like, you watch football and you just don't really be into it. But, like, when I watch Oregon, like, I would be tuned in. And it was just amazing. So, yeah, plays like that really do inspire me.
All right, I got to get a timeout with you, and we're going to come back. And you mentioned basketball. Maybe some folks have seen this today. Coach got asked a good question about who would be on the basketball squad. Sala came up. You go against that guy.
Oh, man.
All right, we got thoughts from a guy who was at least two-sport star in Brandon Dorlus. All right, we're back coming up next, asking that basketball, who would be the starting 5 from the Duck football team?
I got you.
All right,
yes,
back
sir.
after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Chris Jakimick, I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Back with Brandon Dorlus in the Country Financial Studio. I'm Joey Mack. It's the Toyota Coaches Show, and you're still rocking the pink. We were talking uniforms a little bit during the break. I'm a big believer that I liked the uniform that looked like the duck. I really liked that uniform, and I'm happy to report that Mr. Dorlus does as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. It wasn't your top 3, but thank you.
No, yeah, it's up there, though.
All right, so we're talking basketball. So we discussed this when you were last in the studio, that you were quite the basketball player, and it was a tough decision for you deciding between football and basketball in your life.
Yeah.
So you said you were the best basketball player on the team. Still feel that way?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, shooting guard you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Coach got to ask this. I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's the starting 5?
All right, here we go. See, me, I'm going to go with a big lineup because I like to dominate. So I'm putting Mr. Dorlus at the point guard position.
Point guard?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm running the show.
One.
Yeah, I'm running the show.
All right.
I'm going to throw Terrence Ferguson at the shooting guard.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good player in high school.
Yeah, he was a good player. Stephen Jones at small forward.
Okay. Going big.
I'm going, I'm going big. I got to go big. It's crazy because Salah, I thought Salah wasn't really an athlete, but when Salah wants to be an athlete, Salah could be an athlete.
Yeah, we saw that on display last weekend.
It's on film now, so I'm gonna put Salah at the 4.
Okay.
Yeah, and to finish it off, I need a small guy out there that could help me out in the point guard. So
you're sliding everybody up.
Yeah, I'm gonna slide.
Okay.
I'm gonna slide everybody up. I'm putting myself back at the 2.
I was gonna say Stephen Jones at the 3. That guy must have a stroke, right?
Yeah. No, I don't even run that much. I think I'm gonna put Josh Delgado.
Okay.
Yeah, at the first. Cause I see him play ball. He can play ball.
All right.
Yeah,
anybody else that's like on the bench?
Ooh.
Well, like who are the depth guys? You know.
All right, my 6 man, come in with some energy. Got to bring Justin Flo in there.
Yeah.
Play some defense. Help us out. Got to.
Not everybody's gonna score. You need
I need some defense. See, it's crazy because I feel like all my defensive players can come from the linebacker room.
Yeah.
So, I like Keith Brown too. He's an athlete. Noah Sewell, like don't let him fool you. Like he got a little basketball. Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the linebacker room is where you're gonna pull.
Yeah,
from.
I'm gonna pull from the linebacker room. Come in, play some D.
And here come all of your phone's gonna blow up.
Yeah.
Here come all of the text messages, and I'm sorry that I asked you that question.
It's all good.
Brandon Dorlus with us. Okay. Do offensive linemen hold on every play?
Nah.
Not every play?
Not every play, but they hold most of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
What percentage of plays is an O-lineman holding you and they get away with it?
They get away with a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like I'm going to have to start acting out there on the field. So I don't like doing that, throwing the hands in the air, but I feel like 50%, like 75% of the time, they get away with it.
But there are things that you're doing on defense to counteract then, right? That's part of the game,
Yeah,
right?
it's part of the game. You know, we do movements that the rest said, yo, you going inside, he has to do that. It's like, I understand. But like last week, there's a clip where I'm on the edge rushing, and Dorian's trying to roll out, and I know he's trying to roll out. I try to get outside. I'm obviously getting held. I'm like, okay, I see Coach Lanning. Like, in the middle of the play, I look to the sideline. I see Coach Lanning. He's like throwing his headset. It's like, it's part of the game.
Part of the deal.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be that what goes around comes around, right? Like there's going to be a game where it's karma, right?
Yeah.
It pays off.
It pays off. Yeah.
All right, I wanted to ask you something that I like to ask all the veterans of the team. If you could give yourself some advice to your 17-year-old self, what advice would that be?
Take it day by day. You know, it's a process, really. I'm going to tell myself it's a process. You know, not everything's going to go your way. And, you know, you're going to run into a wall one day, but you just got to figure out a way how to get over that wall.
So what's next? Playing in the NFL, going to be an all-pro guy.
Yeah.
What's next after that?
You know, right now I'm studying law and crime, but I love the game too much. And, you know, I see myself being a defensive coordinator somewhere, probably, or
nice.
D-line coach somewhere. So
you want to coach?
I want to coach too. So yeah, I want to stay in the game. But if anything, law and crime, Homeland Security's in there too.
When did it click for you that you wanted to stay in the game? You want to coach long term after you're done playing?
I mean, I think it was like this whole off season, how the D-line just attracted to me, like always looking for me to, like, let's go do drills, let's go do this, and just me like going out there with them and actually like doing the work. Like, I love the game, so that's when it really clicked for me.
What do you wish someone like me asked someone like you more often? Like, you guys get a lot of the same questions, you know, over the course of a season. What do you wish you got asked about more?
Ooh, I wish the reporters would ask more about the coaches' reactions.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I want the fans to know how the coaches be reacting, because the coaches sometimes, you know, they could play up front, you know, show that they're cool on the sideline, but them boys, though, like, you do something wrong, ooh.
They're passionate.
Yeah. They're real passionate.
You know, isn't that fun though to be a part of a team that has that level of passion from coaches all the way down through the players?
Yeah, I feel like it's a competition every day.
Yeah.
Like, who could bring the most juice. Like, the other day, we had practice on Tuesday, and Coach Lanning took his shirt off, and we were just like, "No, put your shirt back on." He was trying to coach us, and we just staring at his belly. It was just like, oh man. Like, it was like, even Coach Tosh was like, "What are you doing?" It was like, it was hilarious, man. But he was just trying to prove a point, because it was real cold, and everybody came out in long sleeve, and he's like, "I don't need a long sleeve. I don't need to do this." But he ended up putting the shirt back on, though. Yeah.
But, you know, you got to have an example to be made sometime.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. I understand. I don't have a follow-up after that. I really don't. Brandon Dorlus, I guess I should just ask you, keys to success at Cal rest of the season, what's going to take to be one of the best defenses in the nation?
Yeah, man, we just got to stay consistent and don't get bored with the details. You know, when you're on a streak like this, you get comfortable, and the biggest mistake is for you to get comfortable. And like I said, one of my interviews is that I'm not going to let a Georgia team beat me twice.
Right.
And that's been driving me this whole season. It's just like, I don't want another game like Georgia. Yeah. And so if we just keep doing what we're doing, don't get bored with the details, do your job, we're going to be all right.
Brandon Dorlus, good to see you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks for being here. That was awesome. And I'm really sorry I asked you the basketball question. I'm sorry that came up.
No, I'm all good.
It was perfect, though. I said to these guys when I got here tonight, like, man, what a perfect time for Coach Lanning to get asked that question, because you and I literally talked about this a few months ago. So if you ever want to amend your starting five, let me know, and I'll be sure to put that out on the show.
All right, man, I got you.
Brandon Dorlus. When we come back, wrapping it up, getting ready for Oregon and Cal on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old. But I am a camping influencer. You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Toyota Coaches Show. Jerry, Jorgie, and Joy as we get ready for I just have some memories of just playing in a pouring down rain. They used a pitchfork to try to drain the field with.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
It's been a fun place.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to leave it at that.
There are
some great games there.
No,
there
there
are
have been.
places.
As any place.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, Jerry, you said this off the air, that there are just no easy games in the Pac-12 when you go on the road. I'm sure that's true in every conference, but I've spent my entire life in the Pac-12. God, it's true.
No,
like, you just
really
can't
is.
think of one.
No, I mean,
it's amazing.
It's I think a testament. In some years, it's not that way. I mean, some years the conference struggles a little bit, and there'll be a lower tier of the conference. It's just not very good. This is not one of those years.
No, and it all can be contingent on when you play somebody at their place. I mean, you know, you play Washington State or Colorado in late November, you never know what you're going to get, right? So all of a sudden you could be a team that should beat them handily, and yet the weather all of a sudden negates that advantage. But just remember last year, this Oregon team was pretty good, and Cal gave them everything it could handle to the very last play of the game right here in Autzen Stadium. So it can happen anywhere, and I love the attitude this team takes and is taking this year, and that is you don't take anything for granted. You just play each game like it's like you do not allow Georgia to get you again.
Yeah. I love that Dorlus said that. You know, I love that Brandon Dorlus said that, because he's mentioned that now a couple times, that, you know, you can't let that game beat you twice, and it's so true, right? I mean, and it's one of those things. We can all sit here and say it. You can verbalize the cliche, the coach speak, whatever you want to call it. But acting on it, whole different thing. And that's what goes on at practice all the time. That's so fun to see and be a part of it, right? To see how they go about their business. And this team has definitely improved. You said it earlier in the show, Jorgie, that the way that they've improved, and even after a big win, a top 10 win in Autzen Stadium, they're saying, no, there's still things that we can improve on. That's what you have to do.
There's leadership right there. I mean, Dorlus, he talked about wanting to be a leader.
Yeah.
What he just said about not getting full of yourself, not getting comfortable.
Yeah.
There are a lot of teams and a lot of individuals that get comfortable with success.
Yeah.
This right now, when I hear a leadership guy like that talking, I don't think this is one of those teams.
I agree. Man, he was fun to talk to.
Yeah, that was fun.
I like watching him play basketball.
Yeah. That starting five is going to get some criticism, which, you know,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure Maybe we'll see what happens at practice tomorrow if we hear about it. I don't know.
Oh, we'll hear about it. No doubt about it. There got to be some coaches on it, too. I'm surprised he didn't put any coaches on it.
Yeah, I guess I didn't ask that, did I?
No, I mean,
well, so let's see. You're the point guard. Jorgie's the shooting guard. I'm the hustler who just tries to stay out of foul trouble. Yeah, we'd be pretty bad.
Terry Johnson would be our big center. He's got height, right?
Terry can score. No, Terry can shoot. Yeah, I think Terry's the small
Don't put the ball in his hands. You'll never see it again. Is that what you're telling me? All right, there you go. Hey, 12:30 kickoff. Yes! 10:30 pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network. Thanks for being with us tonight. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. God bless.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been